Ask 12 different people what protects the heart, and the answers come fast and completely contradictory. Some swear carbohydrates are the enemy, others argue fat is the real problem. One camp pushes meat-only eating, another insists plants are the only solution. Mediterranean, Paleo, vegan. Each one presented as the final answer. What's rarely discussed is this. Most people don't fail because nutrition science is confusing. They fail because the plans they're given collapse under real life. Across hospitals, clinics, and long-term population studies, a clear pattern emerges. Highly restrictive diets may work in theory, but in practice, most people abandon them. And when adherence disappears, results disappear with it. Researchers and clinicians who've observed thousands of patients over time tend to converge on a different conclusion. A nutrition approach that is imperfect but repeatable for years consistently outperforms an ideal plan followed briefly. So the real question isn't, which diet is best? It's, which foods reliably protect the heart across nearly every dietary pattern ever studied? Because when scientists step back and analyze decades of cardiovascular data, they don't see magic diets. They see recurring ingredients. In this video, we'll break down those high-impact foods. We'll also expose some products that wear a heart-healthy label while quietly working against arterial health. And near the end, we'll look at a form of movement and one overlooked supplement that show unusual promise in slowing plaque buildup. Quick disclaimer before we continue. This content is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice. To understand why certain foods matter more than others, we first need to understand how arteries actually become damaged. Plaque formation isn't a single-event problem. It's a slow biological cascade. It begins when the inner lining of blood vessels, the endothelium, becomes stressed or injured. That damage allows cholesterol-carrying particles, particularly those containing ApoB, to penetrate the vessel wall. Once inside, inflammation and oxidative stress transform these particles into irritants that provoke an immune response. The immune system tries to repair the damage, but instead, the repair process thickens the vessel wall. Over time, plaque grows, stiffens arteries, and restricts blood flow. The more oxidative stress present, the faster this cycle accelerates. So foods that genuinely support heart health must interrupt several processes at once: oxidative damage, immune overreaction, endothelial dysfunction, and excessive ApoB exposure. One group of compounds that repeatedly appears in cardiovascular research is found in red and pink plant foods. These foods contain lycopene, a carotenoid pigment that does far more than add color. Lycopene is exceptionally effective at neutralizing reactive oxygen species, which are key drivers of endothelial damage. When oxidative stress declines, the inflammatory chain reaction that feeds plaque formation slows. Population studies consistently link higher lycopene intake with reduced arterial thickening, particularly in vessels supplying the brain. Tomatoes are the most concentrated source, but watermelon, guava, papaya, and pink grapefruit contribute as well. Interestingly, gently processed tomato products often deliver lycopene in a form that's easier for the body to absorb. Another recurring player in heart protective diets comes from plants that most people underestimate: phytosterols. Phytosterols are found throughout the plant kingdom, in nuts, seeds, legumes, whole grains, vegetables, and leafy greens. Structurally, they resemble cholesterol closely enough to interfere with its absorption in the gut. When phytosterols reduce cholesterol absorption, the liver responds by pulling more LDL particles from circulation to maintain balance. Over time, this lowers ApoB exposure inside blood vessels, a central contributor to plaque development. Large-scale analyses consistently show that higher phytosterol intake leads to meaningful reductions in LDL cholesterol, even without extreme dietary changes. Another category of compounds that plays a critical role is flavonoids. Flavonoids appear in berries, citrus fruits, apples, onions, leafy greens, cocoa, and dark chocolate. Their influence extends beyond antioxidants. Inside blood vessels, flavonoids reduce the expression of adhesion molecules, chemical signals that make artery walls sticky. When vessels are less sticky, fewer immune cells attach, inflammation calms, and plaques become more stable. Within this family, catechins stand out. These compounds are abundant in green and black tea. Long-term observational studies associate regular tea consumption with significantly lower stroke risk, suggesting improved vascular resilience over time. Then there is extra virgin olive oil, a staple across populations with historically low heart disease rates. Its combination of monounsaturated fats and polyphenols improves endothelial flexibility, reduces inflammatory signaling, and supports insulin sensitivity. High olive oil consumption consistently correlates with fewer major cardiovascular events in large trials. Fatty fish adds another layer of protection. Fish such as sardines, salmon, and mackerel supply omega-3 fatty acids that actively quiet immune responses involved in plaque progression. These fats also enhance nitric oxide production, improving blood vessel dilation and reducing plaque instability. Long-running cardiovascular studies show that higher omega-3 levels are associated with slower plaque growth in critical arteries supplying the brain. But supporting the heart isn't just about what you add, it's also about what quietly undermines progress. Highly processed carbohydrates, refined sugars, and fructose-heavy foods amplify inflammation and metabolic stress. Many products marketed as heart-friendly, flavored yogurts, cereal bars, bottled juices, deliver sugar loads that rival desserts. Whole fruits, in contrast, slow sugar absorption through fiber and protective compounds. Liquid sugars remove that protection. Beyond food, movement plays a powerful role. Certain forms of exercise don't just improve fitness, they alter plaque biology. Controlled trials show that structured, intense cardiovascular training can reduce plaque volume over relatively short periods. While long-term outcomes are still being studied, early results suggest exercise may rival medication in its impact on arterial health. There is also growing evidence supporting aged garlic extract. Controlled trials suggest it may stabilize plaques and slow calcium buildup in coronary arteries while improving blood pressure. And then there's heat exposure. Regular sauna use has been associated with improved endothelial function, lower blood pressure, and reduced mortality risk. While direct plaque reversal hasn't been conclusively proven, the indirect cardiovascular benefits are consistent across multiple populations. The deeper lesson here is simple. Heart health doesn't come from chasing dietary extremes. It comes from stacking small, repeatable advantages. Foods that reduce oxidative stress, habits that calm inflammation, movement that restores vascular function. When those signals repeat daily, arteries respond. If this breakdown helped you see heart health through a clearer, more biological lens, consider subscribing for more science-guided nutrition and wellness content. And in the next video, we'll explore how timing, not just food choice, influences cholesterol handling and overnight arterial repair.